Hello, you guys. I have promised this video and I'm working hard to deliver on promises. And as totally promised, this is going to be a wild and unleashed Mo. I will probably be saying all the things that we are thinking, but since this is court TV, I may have to speed up the video just a bit and or pause. Uh, but we do have our petty patches, so let's go ahead and put them on so we tell everyone we are being petty today. So the first one is get off your high horse. I think that'll be for Jodi Hildebrand because she seems to think that she is divine from God to tell everyone else how to live, which, no. The second petty patch we're going to put on today is have the day you deserve. I think both of these chicks need to have the day they deserve. So, we'll just put that on. And then I don't have this yet, buttoned up, but they need to become brutally self aware that they are gross potatoes right now. But that leads me into what are we doing and why is Mo being petty? Not that I have a reason, or not that I ever need a reason, but we will be covering the Jodi Hildebrand and Ruby Franke sentencing. Now, again, in the state of Utah, the judge kind of does a pseudo sentencing, and then the real sentencing, like how many in between years, between one and a gajillion are is covered by the parole board and not the judge. So the judge can make a recommendation, but for the most part, uh, it's the parole board that does all the heavy lifting in Utah. So you learn new things here. It's often why you come, I'm sure, other than, pettiness. So I do have closed captions on, and I have also turned everything up. So hopefully the volume, the audio, and everything is good. Let's get this poo show on a roll because I'm sure there will be some BS coming out of everyone's mouth, especially these chicks. Alrighty then, let's go, guys.
Mr. Clark and Mr. Sham are here for the state of Utah, and we are ready to proceed with sentencing.
We are. Yes, John.
Counsel.
Can I be super petty at the beginning? And her hair is naturally wavy. She probably didn't have to, plop and air dry and do all the ridiculous BS that I did. And or she had someone in the salon do her hair. How does she still have nice-ish hair from prison? Petty point noted.
The terms of the sentence were agreed to as part of the plea agreement, correct?
That is correct.
There is a pre-sentence investigation report in the matter. I have reviewed that. Everyone has seen it.
Yes.
What about restitution, counsel, before we move on with other matters?
We'd like to leave that open at this.
Okay, now restitution, what they are talking about is that funds either from Jodi Hildebrand, more likely Jodi Hildebrand, but also Ruby Franke, assets that they have will be used or taken by the state to facilitate therapy, healing, and other things that they deem necessary for the children to help them heal. It couldn't have happened to two nicer thunder cunts.
At this time, Your Honor, I can get into that. I might be more comfortable if we approach to get into that.
Is there an agreement that restitution, that we reserve that and for what period of time?
8 months is what we're anticipating. But I haven't talked to the defendant's counsel about that.
We haven't discussed that, Your Honor.
Is there any objection?
No.
All right. What's the state's position regarding sentencing?
Oh, crap.
Your Honor, the state, I'll stand up. The state respectfully requests that the court sentence Ms. Franke to consecutive prison terms for each of the 4 counts of aggravated child abuse.
Where did
The sentence was agreed to by Ms. Franke in her plea agreement and is also recommended by adult probation and parole. She committed horrible acts of child abuse. From May to August in 2023, Ms. Franke and her business partner held her two children, ages 9 and 11, turning 12, in a concentration camp-like setting. The children were regularly denied food, water, beds to sleep in, and virtually all forms of entertainment. They were isolated from others and were hidden when people came to visit the house where the children and the defendants were staying.
This is gross, disgusting behavior. They definitely need prison time. I mean, y look, whatever you feel about this, it the use of and I am going to speed it up just a little bit. The use of religion and whatever it is that Jodi felt in her power play was useful to, I don't know, seduce
The children
Ruby. It's gross. It's hideous. I haven't gotten into the paperwork, but I'm sure it will all be coming out, and she is just a gross human being, okay? I'm sorry. Look, you do this to your kids, you see them suffering, and you do nothing, and you let your business/guru partner do all these things. Ugh, just ugh. And then you have the nerve, the absolute nerve to look down, tell other parents how they're doing things wrong. And don't forget, ma'am, because I have not, that you charged your young son, you alleged in full court that he had, SA'd other children and been addicted to online adult entertainment after you were holding yourself out like a pious super mom. So, I'm gonna need you to STFU, if you will.
The children were forced to do physical tasks like carrying loaded boxes up and down stairs and wall sits or sitting against a wall without a chair or stool for hours at a time. They were also forced to do manual labor outdoors in the extreme summer heat, at times without shoes or socks. They were forced to stand outside on a cement patio in the summer heat for hours and even days at a time. They were
Why? What did they do that was so wrong? Again, look, I have wild feral boys. Uh, We have talked about the Smurf explosion where they decided to throw rocks at, spray paint stuff. There have been many times where they have done things so that I have no idea what the thought even put in their head to do something so ridiculous or dumb or dangerous. But this is no.
were beaten, and the 12-year-old was regularly bound hand and foot after he attempted to run away in mid-July. Both children had extensive physical injuries from the abuse that required hospitalization when they were found. The injuries from the binding to the 12-year-old are particularly awful. In addition to physical abuse, the children were emotionally abused to the extent that each believed, to some degree, that they deserved what was being done to them.
Look, kids will internalize, and you have a trusted adult, your mother, telling you that you're horrible, bad, evil. That shit stays with you. No restitution can be enough for what she did to these kids. You are the mom. You are supposed to protect them. You are supposed to, at any point, if you need to sacrifice your well being, your health, your even to the point of your life to keep your kids safe, that is your job. That is what you signed up for. The fact that you let Jodi influence you away from your husband, away from your family, what is missing in you that what was missing in you that you did this, A, and then, have the absolute gall and goddamn nerve to tell the rest of us parents how we're screwing up with radical truth telling. How about you point that mirror to yourself? And allegedly you say you have, but I doubt it.
Had the older of the children not had the courage to run away and ask a neighbor to call the police, heaven only knows how much longer he could have survived in that situation. After being caught, Ms. Franke has shown considerable remorse, as evidenced by agreeing to serve consecutive prison terms and being willing to cooperate with the state against Ms. Hildebrant. However, given the severity of the abuse she inflicted, consecutive terms are appropriate in this case.
All right, we need to slip in a commercial break, but
Okay, and we are going to speed through them doing a commercial break and talking head stuff. I look, they can say that she's shown considerable remorse, but I think she's upset that people found out. Again, these are my personal feelings. She may really be on the arc to redemption, but I have no chill for this woman.
12 in a concentration camp-like setting. The children were regularly denied food, water, beds to sleep in, house for hours at a time. They were terms are appropriate in this case. As the court's aware, Section 76-3401 lays out factors the court takes into account in determining whether consecutive or concurrent sentences should be imposed. Those factors are the gravity and circumstances of the offense, the number of victims, and the history, character, and rehabilitative needs of the defendant. As agreed to in the plea agreement and as recommended by adult probation and parole, consecutive sentences are appropriate. This is due to the severity of the abuse to both victims.
Hells yes. This chick needs consecutive. Every single one of these, charges that she has been found or pled guilty to, she needs to be punished for. Again, behind even the best houses can be a story of horror, and I'm so tired of these momfluencers who are hot messes that wanna tell us what to do and how to be the best parents ever when they're doing this kind of BS. And ma'am, I haven't forgotten how you took Christmas away from your 2 young children, how you refused to give your daughter lunch because, she's 6. So don't with me because even before you met Jodi, you were still a thunder cunt.
Both victims. It could be argued that Ms. Franke should receive a lesser sentence than Ms. Hildebrant because of her remorse and willingness to cooperate with the state. However, the Board of Pardons and Parole will have broad latitude and will be able to take those facts into account when it determines how long each of the co-defendants will remain incarcerated. In conclusion, we respectfully request that the court go along with what was agreed to in the plea agreement and is recommended by adult probation and parole and impose consecutive sentences.
Thank you. Anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Winward?
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. In my few comments this morning, and in the comments my client wishes to make in a few minutes, we are not suggesting, nor are we asking that the court deviate from the stipulated sentence contained in the written plea agreement. I want the court to know that through introspection and reflection, Ruby Franke has become a serious student of her own actions. In the very early days of my involvement with Ruby, she was somewhat defensive, and she was still very much indoctrinated into a philosophy that was destructive. Fortunately, Ruby came to the stark realization of the errors in her thinking patterns and subsequent actions. To say that she was horrified by this realization would be to put it mildly. I have marveled at how quickly Ruby abandoned her defensive stance and moved.
No, she realizes she's caught. Look, like I said, this is a full-on petty stream. I am done with this woman. I should be a better person and believe that she is all about redemption and all this other stuff, but I call shenanigans. I call shenanigans. She is upset she got caught. She is upset that her public image has been, tarnished, and now she is doing what we call redemptive person, what is it? She needs a fixer. She needs a public relations person. I just don't buy it at all. You don't change, you don't come out of, indoctrination. This philosophy spoke to her for a reason, and I wanna know why.
And move toward her total acceptance of her actions and to her sentence today. So far, she has used her time in jail to unwrap the layers upon layers of deceit and deception foisted upon her over the last 4 years by an unscrupulous individual. Ruby realizes that she still has work to do in shedding those thinking errors and to reestablish a better and correct pattern of thinking and behavior. Ruby realizes that changing her thinking, reestablishing relationships, and healing are not simple or easy tasks. However, she is committed to doing that work. I would like the court to know that Ruby Franke is a delightful, respectful, and responsible person.
X to doubt. No. She is a pious, self-righteous Helen Lovejoy that got caught being a total monster.
She is open to feedback and addressing the consequences of her actions head on, and now ready to address your honor and accept your judgment. Thank you, Judge Walton.
Thank you. Ms. Franke has a statement she'd like to make.
She does.
Oh, dear God. Let's hear this absolute swamp monster say something.
Judge Wall.
You don't have to bend down.
Okay, thank you. I would like to make a statement without any intent to change my stipulated sentence.
Because you can't, because you signed a plea deal. It's not like you're being a great person. It's not like you're accepting responsibility, you know, out of the goodness of your heart. You accepted a plea deal, ma'am. But okay, spin it how you want. Like I said, no chill.
For the past 4 years, I've chosen to follow counsel and guidance that has led me into a dark delusion. My distorted version of reality went largely unchecked as I would isolate from anyone who challenged me. I was led to believe that this world was an evil place, filled with cops who control, hospitals that injure, government agencies that brainwash, church leaders who lie and lust, husbands.
Yeah, right, ma'am. No, again, this spoke to you for a reason. This spoke to you for a reason because you wanted power. You wanted to control your children. You didn't accept them for the people they were with flawed humanity, and you were going to squash it, squish it, or punish it out of them.
Who refuse to protect and children who need abused. My choice to believe and behave this paranoia culminated into criminal activity for which I stand before you today ready to take accountability. Jodi Hildebrant was never my business partner, nor was I ever employed by her. I have never
Wait a minute, this thunder cunt, Jodi, had her be a life coach and never paid her? I mean, I'm not saying cult leader life is good, but if you can have someone work on your business and never pay them, well.
received wages from her or connections. Jodi was employed as my son's counselor in 2019, and in 2020, I paid her to be my mentor. It is important to me to demonstrate my remorse and regret without blame. I take full accountability for my choices, and it is my preference that I serve a prison sentence. Thank you to
Your preference, you don't have a choice, ma'am. Again, I love the framing of this. Like, I have decided to go to prison. No, you accepted a plea deal in which you were going to go to prison anyway. You decided to go to less prison.
officers in Santa Clara and the Ivan City Police, Nick Hellman, Brian Palufo, Cy Pickuvit, Mike Pandoyo in Tobler, John Ward, D. Lewis, and Chief Flowers. You were the angels who came and saved my children. I especially want to thank Detective Jay Bate. She popped me out of a situation I didn't know how to get out of. And the moment she handcuffed me was the moment I gained my freedom. You were not the controlling ones. I was. Thank you to the medical staff at Intermountain Hospital. Your skill, tenderness, and professionalism helped to heal my children. Jodi and
This hits me so in such a sore spot. You abused your children to the point that your son has lasting wounds. Then you went on to accuse him of SAing people. And the people that did their jobs, that took care of the children, gave them the life, you know, care that they needed, keep their names out of your mouth. I feel like Will Smith needs to be here.
I inflicted the injuries, not the hospital. Thank you to DCFS, the Children's Justice Center, Judge Basil, and other key adults. You've gathered my children under your wing and offered them love, compassion, encouragement. You were not the ones who were doing the brainwashing. Thank you to my Bishop Tom Hawks and my state president, Jim Nelson, for reminding me of the Lord's love for
Wait a minute. So the LDS Church, who continued to recommend that couples go to Jodi Hildebrant.
the lost. So much pain and suffering would have been avoided had I followed and heeded your counsel. I was the one who was deceived, not you. Thank you to the Washington County Prosecutor's Office, Ryan Sham, the legal assistants and discovery clerks. Eric Clark, you exemplified to me how justice and mercy are meant to coexist. My charges are just. They offer safety to my family, accountability to the public, and they did show mercy to me. Thank you to my attorney, Lamar Winward, and his staff. I would not be where I am today without them. Thank you to Randy Kester for your limitless energy in healing my.
I hate this Oscar speech.
my family. My dear friends, Pam and Roy, I'm so sorry for letting you down. Because of your association with me, your innocence was called into question. My mother-in-law, father-in-law, Kevin's family, my cousins, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, and neighbors, you all saw the warning signs long before I did, and you did what you could. You wanted to help, but I pushed you away. My mother and father, I have been utterly wretched to you. You have offered me unconditional love, and for that I have offered you unconditional contempt.
Okay, fine. Her parents and everyone around her are good people.
My siblings and their spouses, because of my decision to roll around in a pigsty, I've dragged your families through the mud in public. Yet, when I desired to return as a prodigal sister, unlike the prodigal's brother in the Bible, you synced step with my parents and ran up to greet me. Your capacity to love is unprecedented.
They're better people than I am. Look, I'm n mm-mm, no. Look, there are things I can forgive, and then there are things that I need a little bit like I said, I am, fake redhead, true Scottish. I will hold a grudge for life in a memorial because this I just eh, nothing about this rings true to me. She seems like a very, savvy, influency person, and look, it might ring true to other people, but this seems like fake to me. It reads fake to me. It just you don't get unbrainwashed in, 6 months if you've been 4 years. It just mm-mm. It's something about it spoke to you, and I wanna understand that, because there's a darkness in her that this particular ideology spoke to, and what's to say she doesn't get, if she doesn't fix that darkness, then she'll just fall into something else. I mean, there's something in her that needs to be fixed. Maybe she's accepted that, maybe she hasn't. It just doesn't ring true to me. Thor, for the love of all that is holy.
Kevin, my husband of more than 23 years, you are the love of my life.
Run, dude. Run, get that divorce paper and run. GTFO. Look, I'm all for saving marriages, but this one is done. You need to protect your children. Keep her the hell away from them until she has demonstrated that whatever dark part of her soul has been fixed. And even then, be protective.
I'm so sorry to leave to you to finish what we both started together. The ending of our marriage is a tragedy. And what I wrapped around my heart, and I'll never be able to undo. To my babies.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Where is Will Smith? Keep their names out of your mouth, ma'am. Again, you blamed your son as a predator. I will not have it. You didn't stand up for your children. I will now. I'm going to go full mama bear if you try to. No, no, these kids are trying to heal. No, this part grosses me out to the nth degree. I'm going to try to be quiet. I'm going to try not to cuss. But every abuser does this. The crying apology about how it's terrible. No, no, no. Maybe after your prison sentence, we can talk, but I need you to serve time before you talk to these children or address them. Keep their name out your mouth, ma'am.
My 6 little chicks, you were part of me. I was the mama duck who was consistently running you to safety.
No, you are the mama duck that took away rooms, that took away Christmas, that wouldn't give your daughter a sandwich when she didn't pack it because she's 6 or 7. You had a darkness in you before Jodi. Name it, claim it, accept it, and fix it, ma'am.
I can see now. Over the past 4 years, I was in a deep undercurrent that led us to danger. Over my breath, reaching to darkness knowingly. I was so disoriented that I believed dark was light and light was wrong.
This poor victim of a woman, she was so confused. She was so counterfused, she had no idea. Jodi just made her so confused. Take ownership.
I would do anything in this world for you. My willingness to
Except save
sacrifice all
you.
for you was masterfully manipulated into something very ugly. I took from you all that was soft and safe and good.
Your world was never soft. Do we wanna run the record back per Daryl Brooks?
I took from you your mother. How terrifying this must have been for you. I will never stop crying. You're hurting the tender souls. You are each so precious to me. I'm sorry. My choice to live in fear of the world has created a great vulnerability and a blind spot for me, where I have broken hearts and I've caused people to suffer and I have betrayed sacred trust. Watching my community respond to my charges with justice and mercy and grace and love is all the evidence to me how wrong I've been. This world is full of really good people.
I should have had Veilhammer work on the audio on this. All I'm hearing is the teacher chick from Charlie Brown.
I'm sorry for twisting God's word and distorting his doctrines. My greatest desire is to stand in his court someday spotless and confident. And Judge Walton, I know.
Let me clear this up for you, Jodi and Ruby. And, well, this is just for me, so I'm an angry redhead on the internet, so it might not be much, but it's a good thing Jesus loves you because everyone else thinks you're a thunder cunt, okay? Let me just explain that to you. Ugh.
Standing before you today is a necessary step towards that end. Thank you to you and your staff for facilitating my opportunity to take accountability and to answer for my charges. I am humbled and willing to serve a prison sentence as long as it takes to continue unraveling all of the disinformation I have believed and thought, swallowed, and acted out, and for my family to heal and for the community to heal. And I understand this is going to take time. I'm committed to continuing my learning until all of my toxic layers.
Listen, this is mainly for the children and for adults of parents who maybe didn't practice gentle parenting. It's okay not to forgive their behavior. Kids, just because she said sorry, just because she's crying and she's your mom, it's okay to take time to not be able to forgive her. All right? I just want to throw that out there because, kids want their moms to be happy. And she should damn well know this. But she is putting on a performance in front of the court, and that's what I see it as. And again, I am simply an angry, fluffy redhead on the internets, you know, spouting my own opinion. So feel free to ignore or take with a giant grain of salt because I am on a tear today. So, it very well could be that I may have some, I may relate to this a little bit, not to this extreme or anything, but gentle parenting wasn't really a thing in latchkey era. So, just because someone says sorry doesn't mean that there is a deadline or a time that you have to accept that. You have all the time in the world to work on your feelings. And if and when you accept her apology, do it on your own terms. It's okay to love your mom, to accept her as a human person with flaws, and never quite forget or feel safe with her ever again. Or, just remember this. You don't have to bring it up all the time, it- but don't feel compelled to rush into forgiveness. At least that's Mo's advice, but then again, I am the Highlander of holding a grudge. There may only be one, and I will hold it for years. So, take my life advice with 900 pounds of salt and maybe some bacon, little bit of ranch dressing on there if you're Midwestern, that kinda thing.
Tears are shed, and I am ready to re-enter as a contributing member of our beautiful society. Thank you, Judge Bolton.
Thank you for your statement, Ms. Franke. Anything else? Ms.
Ruby, frankly, Frankie, in her own words.
Uh-huh. So, now Ruby, look, Ruby actually seemed contrite, and she was given the 1 to 15-year sentence. Now we're gonna go on to mega thunder cunt cow, uh, Hildebrant, who, it will come out, has been making statements over the phone that she's knows are recorded, but, she's like, "The media has it all wrong. There's 2 sides to every story. The kids were monsters. I'm a victim." I guess no one wanted to do her hair.
Court recalls the
And I
matter
am
of State
petty
of
enough
Utah
to point
versus
it out.
Hildebrant, case 2315017.
Someone looks like she's been rode hard and put away wet again. No chill. If I disliked Ruby, this thunder cunt is a mega hose beast, and lock the door and throw away the key, because not only was she a professional, but she screwed with people's minds. She, broke up families. She is evil on earth. She used her power to hurt people. She was supposed to use a position of, helping people with their mental health, using faith and all this other jazz to help people. And she ended up using it as a power trip and being the absolute heifer, gross, disgusting hose beast she is. She decided to play God. And there, even as the world's worst Christian, I know there's only one, and, their name isn't Jodi as far as I checked.
763, counsel are present. Ms. Hildebrant is present. Counsel,
Look at
there is
that
a
face.
pre-sentence investigation report. I have read
She
it.
has
Everyone has
no
seen and reviewed that.
bother.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Again, the sentence was stipulated at the time of the plea agreement. What record do we need to make other than going forward with sentencing?
Your Honor, it would be repetitive. I have the same statement, just with the last few paragraphs where I was differentiating between Ms. Franke and Ms. Hildebrand.
Okay, let's talk about housekeeping matters first. What about restitution?
We stipulated to keep that open for 8 months.
Take all of her crap. I want this woman coming out with not even being able to talk or to have granimals. Swear to goodness. I if she has to, start an only feed account, only hoof account.
For 8 months.
It is
She's a
appropriate, Your
heifer.
Honor, since we don't have any evidence with respect to restitution, and that's because it is still in the process of being gathered by the county attorney's office. It's completely appropriate for the court to make no orders with respect to restitution, other than to reserve all issues regarding restitution, and we have no issue with the eight-month timeframe.
And the injunction that was previously issued by the court will remain in effect,
It will.
at least until that time.
It will remain in effect until further order of this court.
All right. Mr. Clark?
Thanks, Your Honor. The state of Utah respectfully requests that the court sentence Ms. Hildebrand to consecutive prison terms for each of the 4 counts of aggravated child abuse to which she has pleaded guilty. The sentence was agreed to her in her plea agreement and is also recommended by adult probation and parole. Ms. Hildebrand committed awful acts of child abuse. From May to August 2023, she and her business partner held 2 children, ages 9 and 11, turning 12, in a concentration camp-like setting in her house in Ivan City. The children were regularly denied food, water, beds to sleep in, and virtually all forms of entertainment. They were isolated from others and were hidden when people came to visit the house. They were forced to do physical tasks like carrying loaded boxes up and down stairs and doing wall sits or sitting against a wall without
Hey, as a fluffy American, maybe we should have tried wall sits and carrying things up and down stairs, Jodi, eh?
assistance of a chair or stool for hours at a time. They were forced to do manual labor outdoors in the extreme summer heat often without shoes or socks. And they were also forced to stand outside on a cement patio in the summer heat for hours and even days. They were beaten, and the 12-year-old was regularly bound hand and foot after he attempted to run away in mid-July. Both children had extensive physical injuries from the abuse that required hospitalization to treat. The injuries from the binding are particularly bad. In addition to the physical abuse, the children were emotionally abused. They each believed to some degree that they deserved what was being done to them. Had the older of the two children
Because
not
they
had
were
the courage to
told.
run away and ask a neighbor to call the police, heaven only knows how much longer he could have survived. After being caught, Ms. Hildebrant has shown little to no remorse for her actions. In telephone conversation,
Because she's a thunder cow, bloviating, evil on earth. We should check her for hoofs and a tail. She would probably have worked with evil people all throughout the world. She just wanted a cult, and she wasn't even a good cult leader. She did get a lot of people's wives to maybe, stay with her. What is it with these cult leaders and taking everyone's, wives? Leave the chicks alone.
that will be provided in full to the Board of Pardons and Parole, and which she knew to be recorded, she's repeatedly claimed that she is the victim and the children are the perpetrators. She's gone so far as to say that the things said in this proceeding and covered by the media today will be full of lies.
Okay, well, ma'am. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Let me tell you something. Not only are you not as smart as you think you are, you're not as good a cult leader as you think you are, and your lies and everything have been exposed. Your hair looks greasy, you look like you've been rode hard, put away wet, and I hope there's some Gen Pop justice allegedly in Minecraft for you. The fact that you can sit there with a straight face and talk on the phone, knowing it's recorded, saying that the children were really the baddies, means that you have absolutely no idea. I hope they give you the full 15 years consecutively. But this is why I'm not a judge, because I would go ham on your ass.
The combination of three factors make Ms. Hildebrand a significant threat to the community. First, the severity of the abuse she caused to be inflicted on young children. Second, her attitude that everything she did was justified and that she is being wrongfully imprisoned. And third, her training as a therapist and aptitude for using online resources to convince others to follow her guidance. Utah Code Section 76-3401 lays out three factors the court should consider in determining whether to impose concurrent or consecutive sentences. The first is the gravity and circumstances of the offense. The second is the number of victims. And the third is the history, character, and rehabilitative need of the defendant. As agreed to in the plea agreement and as recommended by adult probation and parole, consecutive sentences are appropriate here. This is due to the severity of the abuse to the two victims and the extreme need for Ms. Hildebrand to be rehabilitated so that she no longer will present a risk to the community. The state respectfully requests that she be sentenced to 4 consecutive terms.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Mr. Terry?
Thank you, Your Honor. I will be brief. As is always the case.
Look, Your Honor, my client, may be a she-devil and not even have a redeeming arc like Roseanne in the movie, but it's not her fault, okay? She was just born with hooves. Uh, really, she's just a heifer, and it's not our fault, okay?
The case in cases that come before courts, there are two sides to every case. And as
If I were the judge, I'd be like, I'm gonna stop you right there. Would you like the plea agreement or not? Because I can fully, look, I would have no chill. Y'all, I would have no chill. I would say, oh, okay, well, it seems like you would like to null and void this plea agreement. So we'll be setting a court date for now, if possible. Oh, I would not deal with this little there's two sides to every story. How in the hell is there two sides to every story when you put honey and cayenne pepper in these little children's wounds, make them sit out in, blazing hot weather? Yeah, no, no, no. Y'all are no. She must be punking me because I am confused. I thought you were wearing the cone of, redemptive arc shame, but no, hell no. This heifer is gonna stand on her hoofs and tell us that the kids were the problem.
and even in a case like this, that remains the case. There are many allegations regarding these two individuals, Ms. Franke and my client, Ms. Hildebrant. The only facts in this case that are adjudicated facts are those set forth in the plea agreement that she entered into freely and knowingly and voluntarily. Those facts, those adjudicated facts are significant. They certainly provide a basis for the pleas and provide a basis for the stipulated sentence in this case. My experience with Ms. Hildebrant is that she is not the person that she has been portrayed to be. But having said that, she has accepted responsibility in this case. She has entered into this plea agreement with a stipulated sentence of 4 consecutive sentences. She did that at the time she entered into the plea agreement, knowing that that would be the court's order. She is before the court today, knowing that that will be the court's order, and she fully accepts that. She accepts responsibility, and
She is showing absolutely no redemptive qualities. What do you want me to do with this woman? Snake Island is too good. I'm willing to put her on Naked and Afraid, but I would feel bad for her partner.
accepts the consequences for her conduct. And we will submit it to the court on the stipulated agreement.
Mr. Terry, you suggested that there are two sides to every case. I generally
Hit 'em,
agree with you.
Judge.
Ms. Hildebrand didn't make a statement to AP&P in the course of the pre-sentence investigation report.
Correct.
Why did she not make a statement?
Okay, so Miss, there's two sides to every story. Miss, listen to me, allegedly, not intentionally, Sarah Boone kind of way, definitely said, well, she didn't take the opportunity to, tell her side of the story when she had a chance in the pre-sentencing agreement. What a steaming pile of human waste.
Just make a statement.
She wanted to reserve her right to make a statement before the court today, and she has a brief statement that she wants to read, Your Honor.
Okay.
And
All right. Ms. Hildebrand?
Oh, what the fuck is gonna fall out of her mouth?
I sincerely love these children.
The hell you do? Kiss my white Irish fake ass. Are you kidding me? This. I'm gonna stop you right there. Where is Will Smith? Keep their names, keep the thought of them out your head, out of your mouth. You do not love these children. This is not love. Oh my God, are you Ike Turner?
I desire for them to heal physically and emotionally. One of the reasons I did not go to trial is that I did not want them to emotionally relive the experience which would have been detrimental to them.
No, it's because you would have gotten the death penalty if possible. People do not deal well with the evil that you inflicted and the lives that you ruined. And you have a trail of lives that you have ruined. And that would have all come out in the open. And you want to pretend that you're a martyr here. No, ma'am. You are excommunicated by the power invested in the church, me, Mo, the head leader of the Church of Mo, from ladyhood. You are now just a female human who may have hooves, allegedly, in head canon and a tail, and possibly be the product of, some sort of demonic mating. I don't know. Allegedly, in my head canon.
My hope and prayer is that they will heal and move forward to have beautiful lives. I am willing to submit to what the state feels would be an appropriate amount of time served to make restitution as an outcome.
in answer to your question, Your Honor, I knew that whatever she might say to the author of the pre-sentence report would probably sound hollow and self-serving, and perhaps it does today. But I know that my client.
Actually, sir, you are correct. You have judged the perception. Bailiff gives no Fs is like, yeah, we're pretty sure. Bailiff gives no Fs is like, yeah, pretty hollow. She's a mega heifer.
Client in the statement that she makes to the court today, that statement is absolutely sincere. not
Does
just.
Ms.
Sure, Jan.
Hildebrant recognize that it's her behavior that caused the harm to the children that she's referred to in her statement?
Your Honor, she recognizes that she was, along with Miss Franke,
Wait a minute, I'd like to hear it from the heifer's mouth, if possible. Can we make her like Mr. Ed? They just put peanut butter in her mouth? I don't know how they get her to talk. Look, I don't work with large bovines.
that she made decisions with respect to the discipline of those children that were wrong, that caused harm to those children. She fully recognizes that and accepts responsibility for that.
All right, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
So this is a pretty long video, and basically she gets the same sentence as Jodi. I do feel, or not Jodi, I'm sorry, Ruby. I do feel like the parole board is going to recommend more years for Jodi than Ruby. Look, it is my personal opinion that both of them are faking this redemptive arc, but that might be an opinion not shared by everyone else. I can't with this heifer anymore, and the fact that her lawyer would go out and, try to church up the fact that she's saying, there's 2 sides to every story and the media is lying, a la Sarah Boone. It's no, no. These 2 deserve whatever's coming to them as far as time, in prison, and really, look, kiddos, kidults, anyone who's had to deal with maybe not so great stuff with their parents, this maybe it rubs me so wrong, these 2 women, and thank you for allowing me to have a rant stream. This might not be for everyone. I definitely will label this as not safe for work and full of the cursey words. But thank you guys because oh my goodness, these 2 women are thunder cunts and I hate them and I love that word, but they are. And they should be punished to the fullest extent of the law. And figure out whatever darkness is in them that made this appealing to them because there has to be some underlying not look, I'm not a psychologist. I am an armchair, doctorologist on the YouTubes, but there is some darkness in them that this ideology, this behavior modification plan, something about whatever is broken in them allowed this to speak to them. And whatever that is, if they are truly heaven bent on redemption, then I hope that they take that. And to the kiddos, you don't have to forgive whenever someone says they're sorry. You can work on forgiveness on your own time. You don't have to, there's not a timeline, there's not anything. Work on your own feelings, put them first. Kevin, you better protect those children and run. Get the hell out from away from Ruby. But those are my thoughts. Again, this might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I did promise I would do this. It is a longer video. Thank you if you stayed till the end. Please do all the YouTubey things. I'm not sure how I like this. Look. And it already has a little pill in it. Dang it. I just can't have nice things. Anywho, have a wonderful day. Say something nice. If you have kiddos that you can hug them because, there are people like this out in the world.